Okay, hi everyone. This is Siobhan here. Today I'm with Linda, one of our members who recently joined DCF. She's going to have a little chat with us and tell us about her journey. Linda, what's the crack?
Hey, Ev.
Hi. Come here, tell me, how were you feeling before you started your fitness journey?
To be honest with you, I was on a dark path to destruction. To be honest, mentally, I was in a dark hole. I always suffered with me weight and my body, and I think around 14 years is when I started to really feel not happy inside. So that built up over the 14 years. Like, it got to the point where I wouldn't go into a shop on my own up until I started DCF. I had to have somebody with me. I was anxious, I was stressed, I felt alone, I felt like there was nobody like me that felt like that inside. So yeah, I was struggling and I was finding it very hard to get out of that hole, to crawl back out. I would just stay in all the time. I wouldn't go out. I tried to avoid all social activities with family, friends, everybody. I used excuse after excuse after excuse because of my body confidence and then what was going on inside. So yeah, it was very tough, especially during lockdown is when it really hit me. I found that I suffer with a thing called angioedema. It's swelling of the skin. And I ended up in hospital 10 years ago. I starved myself. And yeah, starved myself. So I ended up getting my gallbladder out, and that's what caused it, was the starvation. And I still wasn't happy. So my body was that stressed. I got this skin condition called angioedema, where your skin swells, throat swells, head swells, and you're left with on an antihistamine. I could kill you, basically. So I've been on the antihistamine for 10 years because of that stress.
Wow, you've had a lot going on.
Yeah, it's been very tough, especially with my eldest. See, it started 14 years ago because my eldest daughter has a condition called mitochondrial disease. It's a condition that can kill her. If she gets common cold, she could die from it.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so all of that on top of what was going on with me didn't help with my body, with my feelings. And I was just, it felt like pressure on my shoulders, and I was getting pushed down into a hole and I couldn't get back out.
Wow.
So,
that's
yeah, it was tough.
Person. So how have you enjoyed your time at DCF? So tell us about like your weight loss and your results.
At first going in, I was, oh my God, I was terrified. Like, I'd been to gyms and I lasted about a week, because you'd walk into a normal gym and you'd see all the machines, you'd see all the muscles, you'd see all the women stunning figures, and that's not me, and so embarrassing. So they just took your money.
Yeah.
And right, go on, do your thing. You're left twiddling your thumbs. Didn't like that whatsoever. So I left after a week. Now, you're talking, that was about 8 years ago. And the thing about Dinny Collins Fitness, it's not like them gyms. You go in, you meet the trainers, and they're just fantastic. They're so fun. They don't judge. They advise you on your weight goals. They advise on your diet. They're just brilliant. And I found that helped me more with confidence than anything else. And then the people I met as well in there, they're as much help as the trainers were, I have to say. And all it was fun. And the weight loss, I struggled with the scales a lot now, because I'm one of them that wouldn't lose quick on the scales, but I do in inches. Like, I think I've lost around 8 inches in total. Now, I weighed myself this morning and I'm 23 pounds down altogether now.
Wow, so, a whole new wardrobe. So
yeah, that was since I started at the beginning of August. So 3.5 months. That's the most I've ever got down healthy. A healthy way of doing it. It's the most I've ever done. Whereas I've starved myself, I've done the shakes, I've walked myself to death. And none of that ever worked for me till I joined Dinny Collins Fitness. And I have to say, the stress levels as well, oh my God. I got up this morning and I realised I haven't had an antihistamine in 2 weeks. My angioedema is gone. I don't swell, I don't itch. Swear to God, I just realised this morning, and I was like, oh my God, so I'm a much happier person inside. rather than outside. I'm actually after shocking myself this morning when I realised that, because that was such a big thing, stress
That is
on my mind and my
amazing.
body.
And that is great to hear.
Yeah.
Like it, so say you knew someone that was on the fence, or anyone that might be even watching, that was thinking about joining, what would you say to them? What advice would you give?
I've had people on to me and I said, don't think about it, just do it. I mean, it took me 14 years to actually reach out to somebody.
Yeah.
Like I seen Dinny Collins' head pop up on Facebook one day explaining his story, and I was like, hey, that's kind of like how I feel. Like he said, he broke his back, he did this, and it was like, yeah, you're just stuck in that rut. Just go for it. If you don't do it, you'll never change, and you'd bury yourself if you have any mental health problems. Because that actually, I realise now, that was a big part of my problem, was mental health. It was, and it was getting to the stage as well. That week, I actually reached out to Dinny. I used to go around and I'd be, oh, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm this, and I'd be saying out loud. My 7-year-old was listening to this. She came down to me the week I reached out and says, Mammy, do you think I'm ugly? And I said, oh my God, I'm imprinting that into my 7-year-old child. I'm giving her them insecurities. So if you want to do it for yourself, do it. If you wanted to do it for your kids, do it, because there's no excuses, just do it. I'm one of these people that used to smile on the outside, in the inside. No, I was, yeah. So I'm just saying, if you want to feel better, if you want that stress gone, like injuries. I mean, I suffer with sciatica. I've had 2 bouts of sciatica in the 3 months, whereas I suffered every day. So not only does it help with physical, mental, it helps with your injuries that you have.
Yeah.
So I just advise people, don't think, just do it. Text and do it, ring, reach out to anybody. Even me, I'll get onto them and I'll tell them. Do you know what I mean?
Linda, you really are one of those success stories. It's always great to hear. It's great to get that much feedback. Do you know what? Thank you for coming on and giving us a little of your story anyway. Thanks very much for joining us. More success to you. Success as you can go on. Even
well,
when
I'm only 3.5 months in, so I'm sticking with it. So it's keeping me head there. So
brilliant. Right, well, I'm going to let you go.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much for your time. I'll talk to you soon in the class. Bye. Bye.
Yeah.